A faith that sees doesn't keep silent, and it should not keep silent. If you see something, you must say and do something, even if it's going to ruffle the feathers of some. Paul entered the city of Athens, the capital of Greece, while on his second missionary journey. Acts 17:16 say he was provoked within him. In other words, he was stirred up, exasperated. He was angered by what he saw. The city was indulging in idol worship. If your faith doesn't get aroused by evil practices taking place in churches, if you are comfortable with couples shacking up and have no problem with gay pastors and homosexuals on the choir, you need to check your spiritual conversion. You might not be saved. Verse 23 of Acts, the 17th chapter say, "For while I was passing through, I examined the objects of your worship. I also found an altar with this inscription: to an unknown God. Therefore, what you worship in ignorance, this I proclaim to you." I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm going to do something here. I'm going to tell you about the God that you worship in ignorance. Other words, the folks were so superstitious. They worshipped all types of different gods. And just in case they missed one, they had an altar up for the unknown God. Paul said, let me tell you about the unknown God, who is the only and true living God. I have been teaching and studying the Bible for over 40-something years. One thing you can count on when speaking out against those who show signs of false teachers, and especially the ones that are popular, there will be people that will raise up against you to defend that snake in the pulpit. They will say things like the Bible tells us not to judge, misinterpreting the whole scriptures. And this too is a tactic of the devil. We're not judging no one, but we have a spiritual obligation to expose wickedness and evilness, no matter how popular it may be. Christ did not condemn the church at Ephesus for finding fault with fake and half-stepping Christians. He said, I know your deeds, you and your toil and your perseverance, that you cannot tolerate evil men, and you put to the test those who call themselves apostles, and they are not, and you have found them to be false. It is your spiritual obligation to say something or to do something when wrong is being perceived as right. What he condemned the church of Ephesus was they left their first love, but not for putting to the test false teachers and false preachers and exposing them. The Bible talks about a certain man named Apollos, born of Alexandria, an elegant man and mighty in scriptures, came to Ephesus. This man had been instructed in the way of the Lord, and being fervent in spirit, he spoke and taught accurately the things of the Lord, though he only knew the baptism of John. So he began to speak boldly in the synagogues. When Aquila and Priscilla heard him, they took him aside and explained to him the way of God more accurately. In other words, they saw something and they did something. Not to let someone continue to go in a way of error, they took him aside and they expounded more accurately the truth. Our story is about Moses, a man of faith. But if you look at the life of Moses, you will also know that Moses' parents were people of faith. But not only that, Moses' brother and sister also had faith. So I want to go on and talk about transferring our faith to our children. The transferring of our faith to our children. Too many times I have seen kids born and raised in churches only to become adults and not want anything to do with the church, or gone off to college and get Christianity beat out of them. There are lots of factors that go into why this occurs, but we won't address them in this video. Instead, I want to give my attention to the two important factors of godly parenting and how we can go about transferring our faith to our children. 1, we need to put equal or even more effort and attention into developing and nurturing faith in our kids than we do trying to develop the next Tiger Woods or the Williams girls. Godly parents have the awesome responsibility to guide and point their kids in the right direction to God. Proverbs 22:6 say, "Train up a child in the way he should go. Even when he is old, he will not depart from it." The word train up, the Hebrew word hanak, it means to dedicate. It normally refers to the dedication of a house or a temple or an image to God. But here, the verb translate train seems to include the idea of setting aside, narrowing, or hedging in. It's the idea of hedging in or curving the conduct of our child's behavior from evil, directing them towards God. It's what you get when you have a tree that is still in its formative years and is being bent and is growing crooked. And you put 2 posts up and you tie cords to it to straighten it up so that it can go straight up. When we train our kids and put boundaries in their lives, the boundaries are designed to keep them on a path that leads to righteousness and to faith in God. But today, we're allowing kids to be raised by the streets. We're allowing our kids to spend more time on Nintendo and PlayStation and all the other things just to keep them out of our hair rather than nurturing them and guiding them. Or we go to the other extreme where we are trying to make them the next Venus and Serena Williams, and we got them in all kinds of sports programs and all the other things that we don't got time for God, and we didn't guide them in the things of God. Training involves putting guidelines in our children's lives to discipline them, that it will set their path on a righteous road that will lead to God. You do not have to train a child to do wrong. The Bible say in Proverbs 22:15 that foolishness is bound in the heart of a child, but the rod of discipline will remove it far from him. We correct our children, we discipline our children to keep them on a straight path, to guide them towards God. You cannot spare the rod, expect to get good children. The government has stepped in, accused us of abusing our kids when we discipline them with the rod. And they go on to set laws against us from doing that. But then now we raising kids that has no fear of parents or authority, kids that going out and do what they want to do. Now we want to lock parents up for the behavior of the kids, the same kids that we was told that we cannot beat or whip or discipline. And some parents, and they think it's amusing when the foolishness of the kid talking back and hitting back at a young age. And we want to put it on Facebook as though that's cute. But that same brat will grow up and become a young adult and start really laying hands on them, black eye and all the other kind of stuff. And because we lack discipline when they was young, we should have corrected them when they talked back, when they raised their hand at a young age. That wasn't cute. It's the foolishness of sin nature that is bound in them because of sin. And it needs to be corrected at a young age while they yet are still conformable.